Okay, guys.
Sorry, Donato. Sorry,
okay.
we're starting Lithuanian.
You ruined it.
No worries.
My bad.
You cannot ruin it. It's unscripted. So we're all good. We're 8 rounds into the new EuroLeague season. We're one month into our new EuroLeague season. And it's time to provide our updated power rankings, an update from what we had before the season. I honestly do not remember what we had before the season, but I think we're going to see the list of teams going up and down. The thing is that Gytis actually made all these slides. Gytis was also part of our power ranking. It's a combined power ranking, and these teams will be listed on averages that we put, taking all these teams from 1 to 20. So without further ado, let's go with the number 20 team that we had at the moment after 8 rounds, and nobody's surprised to see Asvel Villeurbanne, I guess, right?
Any comments, guys? We just saw Asvel get demolished in Kaunas, and it was really a game where it did not look like both teams were EuroLeague teams, really.
But at the same time, we cannot make huge judgments based on that game, because when you look the way they played before, for instance, in few of their 6 losses that they had, they were down against Pana only by 3 points with 80 seconds to play. They were up against Virtus to start the fourth quarter, although they lost that game. They were even up against Valencia with 4 minutes to play. So that game was really horrible. But my idea is that Asvel was not that horrible like we saw in Kaunas, that's for sure.
But do you see any hope of them getting?
No, not really. I'm not here to say that Asvel is a team to watch this season. I mean, it's not even us or fans. It's even the ownership of the team. They do not care about the organization, and that's why I don't want anybody to disrespect the players and the head coach, because they cannot do anything about that. It's just Tony Parker and his team. They just literally do not care about the team. They didn't even meet the minimum payroll for the EuroLeague as the shareholders. The minimum floor level for the payroll is 5.8 million euros. They couldn't even do that. So, I mean, what you can do about that if the organization doesn't care about the team itself?
And it's a very short roster. I think 1 or 2 injuries hurt them more than any other team in this league. So if they lose one player, they already have a huge gap in, for example, center position. If they have the full roster, if all guys are available, they can at least compete in some games. But looking for some positives, at least they're really giving a shot to the young players. For example, when you see Melvin Ajinsa taking 5 3-pointers in 1 quarter, you know that he has the freedom to play and he can develop his talent. So it's good for these youngsters that they are getting minutes of really competitive basketball. But as a team, they're obviously not going to win a lot.
Yeah. Last season of Asvel in the EuroLeague?
It seems
probably
that way, right?
I mean, the way organization acts, it seems like that. What do we have at 19? Baskonia Vitoria.
Picked up 2 wins. I think actually they have been more competitive than people actually think. They gave a fight for Olympiacos and Panathinaikos in Vitoria. Both Greek teams won just in the last moments. And different as well, I think they're actually fun to watch. They play super fast basketball. They share the ball a lot. They set a lot of slip screens. They shoot a lot of 3-pointers. Timotei Luau-Cabarro is having the start of the season of his life. And so at least they're fun to watch. And as I said, maybe they could have been even a little bit higher, but they just couldn't manage to close out a couple of games against stronger teams. And they have some injuries. So they already added Kobe Simmons to the team just to
they don't have Marcus Howard, Trent Forrest, and that's huge, given that they already have a short rotation.
But they finally had a successful double game week. And actually, I remember an early Sunday afternoon, it was October 26th, I tuned in to watch Baskonia Murcia Liga Endesa game. And they were beaten by Murcia, and their former player, Sander Reyes, was hitting spot-up shots. And I thought, this could be the end for their head coach. I mean, they could actually change the coach, but then I realized Duško is not available, so they're probably not going to the market. And yeah,
they don't have options.
The changes didn't happen, and then they got 2 wins in the EuroLeague, which should cool things down a little bit.
Yeah,
and they're not that bad, honestly. As a 19th team in the power ranking, they are not that bad.
From what I heard, the front office has confidence in Coach Galibiati. But, you know,
I don't
it's
think
Vitoria. You never know. You never know. But since maybe it's related to Duško being not available at the moment, so...
But I don't think he's doing a bad job, actually.
No.
He has his style. He's trying to implement it. They play his way. And as I mentioned, they got 2 wins. And in 2 games against Greek teams, they were competitive. This roster is nowhere near the top 10 of the EuroLeague. Plus the injuries they have. So, I mean, their center rotation right now with Luka Šamonić out of the team is I don't know, probably the worst or second worst in the EuroLeague, but they're still competitive. So, yeah.
Who's next?
Maccabi. Got to be Maccabi.
Should be Maccabi. Okay.
Down 4 spots, actually. What do you guys think about Maccabi's performance so far?
I just think if you want to win with the style they're playing, you need to upgrade your talent a lot because you're not winning through defense. If you want to win through talent, you have to be Ataman's Efes or Ataman's Pau, and they're not that good. And Lonnie Walker's hero ball is not something I admire, honestly, as good as he is, but the games that I've seen, and especially the ending of the Olympiacos game, that was really terrible. They could have more wins, but some could say they could have less wins if it wasn't for Tamir Blat's game winner against Real Madrid. But in general, the basketball they play might be fun to watch, but it's not the basketball that gets you to EuroLeague playoffs unless you're Monaco, unless you're Panathinaikos, unless you're Olympiacos, which, as I said, they're not.
True. No chemistry offensively. Worst defensive rating in the EuroLeague. I mean,
they allow 124 points per 100 possessions. That is not going to get you anywhere. You have to have an all-time record offensive rating to win games with the kind of defense you play, and I don't think you have enough talent and great decision making to do just that. So,
and I can't even take not playing at home as an excuse anymore, because playing at home might give you a lift, but not that big of a lift. Like, I mean, it makes you better, obviously, when you play at home with your own fans. But when you see all the numbers, the fans don't make you a great defensive team from the worst defensive team. It doesn't work that way. So I cannot even take that as an excuse anymore, especially when I see another team not playing at home and actually being really solid so far.
Who do we have at 17? Partizan.
Damn. 10-spot drop.
One of the biggest drops that we can have. I think it's going to be the
biggest disappointment so far of the season.
That's true.
The very first game, actually, the game that opened the EuroLeague season, it looked like an NBA preseason game at best, with the effort and the defense and the attention to detail that I've witnessed in that game. That was Dubai versus Partizan. And they just have so many problems on the defensive end. I think they're a bit of a mess. Although I see a lot of quality in that team, I believe that progress will be made and they will get better. But at the moment, there are so many questions about them.
The problem is that nothing much changed since this opening game in Dubai, actually, in terms of habits, being more disciplined, more focused on details that Željko cares about. So that's my biggest thing. And while you can expect a progress in Željko's team, it's hard to expect a significant progress with Carlik Jones out. That's the problem. So I think that they're going to miss him hugely, especially for the next couple of months. And that's why it's actually hard to expect Partizan climbing high in upcoming months.
Just the worst tie for the worst defensive rating in the EuroLeague after 8 games with Maccabi. And as you said, I think it's more about the guys that you have and the defense they play. A lot of them are not focused enough on the court in every possession. It will happen that they can play a great defensive sequence for one possession, two possessions maybe in a row, and then just lose their own guy in a situation where it just should not happen. And not even a off-ball screen. It's just a simple cut maybe, or just this different spacing. The player moves without the ball and you just don't see it because in your head you're thinking about somebody else on the court, and it's too many guys of that. Jabari, even Sterling Brown, Tyreek Jones. You can mention a lot of guys do that on Partizan team, and I think that's a huge issue. And now offensively, you don't have Karlik Jones. Plus, sometimes Željko chooses really to play some interesting lineups, like Nick Kalatis, first game I think for Partizan in the EuroLeague, and he goes in and there's a trio on the court at the same time: Tyreek Jones, Bruno Fernando, and Nick Kalatis.
Who's going to space the floor?
Yeah, that was my question. They didn't play for like long, but it's just sometimes it's really, what's the idea behind this?
They play Fernando and Tyreek Jones together a lot. In Hapoel game, they tried Asatkowski and Jabari Parker in the same lineup, and of course defensively it was quite horrible. Yeah. So it feels like Željko is trying to find his lineup, and still it took 1 month to try to figure it out, and they didn't figure it out. Of course, injuries doesn't help. So that's why I think that it's a legit place in this power ranking, and it's really hard to see much positivity going forward into November, at least.
And I'm looking at their next 5 games, the schedule of November. They have Olympiacos away right now, Monaco at home. They have one easier game, let's say Asvel or in Villeurbanne. And then to close out the month, they had Fener at home and Panathinaikos away. That's 4 super tough games out of 5, and you have all these problems, and you don't have Karlik Jones. Oof.
I just don't like how Polish heritage is being disrespected, like Osatkowski. I mean, come on.
Okay, Osatkowski. The problem is that, I'm curious how Dylan actually pronounced his name.
I think the American way, but look, as a Wisniewski, I have to tell you, he's Osatkowski. His ancestors are
Let's agree on this. But what about Arlauskas? Is he Arlukas, like he pronounces himself?
No,
or Arlauskas?
No, he's not.
He's Arlauskas.
That's Lithuanian heritage.
Nice. It's good to hear. At least we have common line on that.
Number 16, Mr. Producer.
I mean, the Polish person inside me just always not happy when the names are being disrespected.
Number 16, Dubai. Also, they dropped by 3 spots, which also makes sense because we didn't see much quality, we didn't see much consistency. They had a big losing streak recently. In games you didn't expect them to lose. For instance, Villeurbanne, even Baskonia. They lost last second round against Valencia. They still don't have Canan Musa. The only good thing is that Alexa Avramovic should return earlier than expected, because the initial prediction was that he could return around January. But now it seems like he's just weeks away from the return. And I think that's huge because at least in the game against Valencia, in a way they tried to close the game, it was just a messy ball movement. It was just really hard to watch them offensively. So I think Alexa Avramovic could calm their game down a little bit.
Super mixed feelings about how they play. They had 2 great games against Fener away and the first one against Partizan. But then after that, in some games, they just look like, I don't know, just a group of individuals out there on the court. And I am yet to really understand, the level of this Dubai team. Of course, Canan Musa is out, and that's been huge for them. So I kind of, 16, I think I put them at 14th or a couple of spots higher, but I still think I want to see more of Dubai going forward.
Well, the way they built the roster, and when I saw that roster when it was completed, I just thought they won't have good chemistry. They won't have good defense. I see on the same team Dwayne Bacon, Davis Bertans, Canan Musa, Filip Petrushev, and so many other guys. And I thought that,
not ideal.
This probably won't work. And I heard from some colleagues' opinions that maybe they'll be the first club to actually change the head coach during the season. But the way they started, it seemed like, okay, maybe Jurica Golemac figured it out and he can actually play with all these guys and with Dwayne Bacon as well. But now you're starting to see what we were talking about before the season started, just judging the roster. And I don't know whether they'll get better. I know one thing for sure, they won't be consistent. They will probably get some good wins. They might beat some good teams, but they're not a team that I expect, let's say, to win 4 or 5 in a row and be consistently good. Which is why maybe in the power rankings, they might be the team that jumps up and down a lot during the season when we do this thing.
Yeah, especially when those players returns. I mean, we're talking about 2 clear starters, Avramovic and Canan Musa. So I think that's going to be huge. But yeah, I mean, defensively, you didn't have any expectations, but at least offensively, okay, you can see some ball movement problems, but if they want to be successful, you expect them to be efficient offensively. They have the 12th best offensive rating in the EuroLeague, so that doesn't add up to their potential expectations if they want to go far.
They're traveling so much. I mean, they're playing some games in the weekends in the ABA League. Then they have to either fly back or fly to another country in Europe. The travel with the schedule that October had in the EuroLeague, we had 8 games. There's not going to be another month like this in the EuroLeague regular season with so many games. So maybe, and plus the injuries, plus the new team, it could have impacted them a little bit. But I don't think their ceiling is really high this season. I really don't.
Who do we have at 15? Virtus.
Plus 3 spots.
Could be higher, but it's just recency bias, maybe.
Yeah, I had them 13th or something.
If you take the last 2 games away and judge them on the 6 that they played before, they would be much higher. I would say it's a team with limitations, but at the same time, it's a team with potential. However, if Carson Edwards doesn't get hot, like for example in Kaunas, when he couldn't get an easy bucket, their offense could start looking ugly. But you know the coach, and you see that the team has a lot of size, a lot of physicality, so they can actually play good defense, which already is something that wins you games during the season. Even in that Kaunas game where they were beaten by 20 or something, especially in the second half, you could see that they were pushing Žalgiris out of their sets, out of their positions. It was not as easy as the scoreline might say. So I respect them.
Yeah.
But at the moment, after this double game week, it's not normal that it just dropped in the power ranking.
Yeah, again, we're talking about a quite small budget team. They were limited. And of course, they're going to be dependent on Carson Edwards a lot. But what I liked, as Rytis mentioned, that they're hustlers. I like the youth in their roster, in their game. They rely on potential of players like, I don't know, Smailagic, Niang, Jallo, some other guys. Matt Morgan has a solid season coming off last year's experience. And playing at home, they're unbeaten so far. And they actually beat some really solid teams like Pana, Monaco, Madrid. The only win away they got was against Villarban, but this is what you probably can expect, that they're going to be unpredictable this season, but at the same time, they're going to be a team to respect. They're going to fight until the very last moment, despite their limitations.
I think that hustle and their defense and their energy and, let's say, some uncomfortable lineups with 3 guards, with Smailagic at the center, just got the better of some really high-budget teams early in the season because of those other teams. Let's say Pana is still so far away from what they could be. I think Monaco also in the first couple of weeks were not at the peak of their performance. And the first game, Real Madrid, new coach, new system, a lot of different things they got going on. So they just took care of that and took advantage of that situation, which is amazing. Kudos for them. But as the season moves on, I think if they remain at 15th, 14th spot, I think it's a good result for them. I don't see them going and potentially moving into the play-in zone.
So we have a tie at number 13 and 14. Bayern Munich and Anadolu Efes. Mm-hmm. Starting from Efes, another big drop, probably the second biggest that we have in our power ranking by 7 spots.
I think they're unlucky with all the injuries, missing basically all of the centers. Their bigs are Schmitz, Osmani, and Desser. the young French
The guy
player.
who didn't even play in the first few
So
EuroLeague games.
They don't really have centers. They don't have Vincent Poirier. They don't have Papagiannis. And it's a problem, of course, but I think they might break through at some point of the season because there's so much perimeter talent. Shane Larkin started the season in a really good shape. The Eurobasket didn't affect him negatively like the last time in 2022 when he was injured and he just couldn't overcome that. Now he looks good. You have Nick Weiler-Bob, Isaiah Cordinier, Jordan Lloyd playing next to you. So the perimeter is insane, actually. It's a really good perimeter team. But when you don't have the rolling bigs, the pick-and-roll partners that you imagined, especially Vincent Poirier, it's a problem. Maybe some players are underachieving or not finding their role at the moment, or Kokoshkov is not finding their perfect position. For example, PJ Dozier, I think he could bring a lot more to that team. But it's a very talented team. So if I agree about Virtus that their ceiling is pretty low, like 14th, 15th place in the standings, FS could be a playoff team if everything clicks together, in my opinion.
They just need a center. And are they looking for that in the market? Are they looking for guys from the NBA?
I mean, they're looking for any guy who could actually help. Because even with Kai Jones, he has this partially guaranteed contract because team can opt out of his deal in January or something. So one way or another, if they want to continue with him or not, given the current front line that they have, with Poirier out also at least until January or February, I mean, they have to make moves, obviously. Especially when Roland Schmitz is not in his top shape, top rhythm that he could be helpful to the team. Osmani, you cannot say anything to Osmani. He's probably playing his best basketball in his life in the recent months.
He's better than Mirotic at the moment.
He's
that
huge,
says
really.
a lot.
That says a lot about Mirotic as well, but a lot about Osmani.
And his development. You know, I think his confidence just after he was playing actually good last year as well.
Yeah.
But that confidence boost that he got from the Eurobasket, I think, is huge. Now he's playing 25 minutes a game. And I was surprised, you know, he got something going on with his shoulder and he was supposed to miss 3 weeks. And that would have been another huge blow to FS, but somehow he plays immediately the next game.
So many fantasy players just dropped him out of their teams.
That was me.
But he played.
So they just need patience. And I think they need bodies at the center position. And that would make their life a lot easier.
The defensive rating sucks. They're bottom 5 team, but at the same time, you don't have any frontline presence, especially defensively with rim protectors. There's not much you can expect. The only problem that offensively, with so much talent, sometimes you expect better flow. For instance, I watched the ending of the game against Fener, and I didn't feel very comfortable watching PJ Dozier trying to play hero ball in some very contested situations when you have Shane Larkin, Jordan Lloyd just around standing and not getting any ball. So that was my issue. And, you know, just in general for Kokoshkov, although he has all this trust in the organization because they knew that it's going to take time, they had a quite screwed pre-season with all these players in the Eurobasket, a lot of injuries and stuff like that. He has the confidence from the front office, but, you know, it's like for every new coach who tries to implement his new system, good start of the season, like for Žalgiris, for instance, it really matters to click the team, to have this, I don't know, team confidence in what they're doing in the project. So we'll see how they're going to bounce back. But of course, they need some bodies to start the change, I guess.
But they had a great game against Paris, for example, which proves that they have enough talent to beat good teams.
Or Olympiacos game.
Yeah, but the Fener game that you mentioned, if I could reflect on that, my issue with the game is that in the first 20 minutes, they actually outplayed Fener, but they were down 1. So you played better, but you're still down. This is a problem. And in the second half, just Fenerbahce stepped up their defense a lot, and that's it.
And we have Bayern. They're 4-4 in the standings. And now they have Spencer Dinwiddie as well on their team.
Do you see that team going up in the power ranking as we do it after 1 month or 1 month and a half now that they have Dinwiddie?
I think this is their level. where they are right now. I cannot expect miracles from Spencer Dinwiddie, even though he's a good basketball player. But I have doubts. If no NBA teams sign him, they probably know something that maybe he has some problems that are stopping him. He seems a lot slower than he was 2 or 3 years ago. I don't think the situation is as bad as it was with Kemba Walker, for example. He doesn't have such a bad injury record, but obviously it's a player past his prime. What can he do in Europe? We will see, because he's a really skilled basketball player. It could be a good signing for Bayern Munich in the end, but I don't think that he is a superstar that's all of a sudden makes Bayern Munich top 6 contender or anything like that.
Yeah, probably it's not about the top 6 contenders or just contending for anything like title or Final Four. Maybe contender for a play-in. Yeah, more
So just
realistically.
like last season.
Basically,
But
yeah.
last season they had a really nice fit with Devin Booker at center, with Weiler Bob, with Carson Edwards as the scorer.
They had money to build a solid roster. I mean, when you look at this roster, you can see that they probably had a budget reduction. A lot of players who were unsigned or parted the ways during the offseason, they joined the team. So it was quite limited roster entering the season, and especially with Jokubaitis getting injured. So I think that Dinwiddie adds to this team. I think that 4-4 is actually better than when I expected before the season.
4-4 is
that's
very decent.
That's huge for
very
this team.
decent.
And with Dinwiddie, I actually liked his first game. I liked that he was not forcing the offense through him too much. He was passing the ball. He was making good reads. And in terms of his athleticism, it's still enough for the EuroLeague to have some advantages. So given his skill sets, I think that he will add something to Bayern. And they will be in the playing conversation.
Because it's very important to emphasize he is a smart basketball player. So even if he's declining, he's still a smart player that can make the right read, which is very important.
Just my one remark about Bayern. I think Gordy has done outstanding job once again, but 4-4 is great for them. But they have played six games at home, and I've not seen a schedule like Bayern's in the EuroLeague ever before. They will play now against Paris, and they will play against Barcelona at home, and then they will have 7 road game straight. 7 straight road games.
Wow, 7 in a row?
7 in a row.
I'm not
November
sure that
14th.
NBA teams have 7 in a row.
I think they do when West Coast teams
4
go to
or
the
5,
East Coast.
Yeah, but 7.
But I have not seen that in the EuroLeague. Maybe it has to do something with their gym, but they're starting their road trip on November 14th, and the next time they play at home is actually 23rd of December. And after that, they're going to have 8 games out of the next 10 at home. So it's
fans,
super important.
When they're gonna host Barca on November 12th, they won't have the yearly game up until Christmas, 23rd of December.
That streak could kill your momentum and like totally destroy it, or it could build something up if you get a few solid road wins. I mean,
it's going to be Anadolu, Baskonia, Valencia, Partizan, Dubai, Asvel, and Monaco.
No,
it's not horrible.
There has to be an explanation for this.
Yeah, I will have to check that out actually, because that's weird. Who's next at number 12? Milan, dropped by 1 only. And given their injury situation, like missing Josh Nebo, Lorenzo Brown, and Zach Lidey, I think that they had them only in 26% of total games played so far. That's not a bad situation to be in, I guess.
I think it's the most positive I've been about Milan for the last 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
Honestly. Well, they beat Žalgiris, they beat Paris. They did some good stuff in those games. Of course, it helps when Gianpaolo Ricci hits all of his pot-up shots, but I see a team that finally has some idea behind it. I mean, I see players putting effort on the court, and even dealing with all the injuries, they're still competitive, which gives me hope that when there's the full roster available, Messina could take this team a little bit further than he did in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Sometimes I think that less is better for Milan because once again, I think that they just have too many guys, especially when you watch at their backcourt. You have Bolmaro, Lorenzo Brown, Nico Mannion, Quinn Ellis, which I like. But at the same time, okay, but who is the best point guard for this team? Under which point guard they thrive? It's hard to tell, which again, I go back to my point. Why do you have so many guys? Why not to bring one really solid star point guard and then to kind of build a team with two more guards or something like that? Well, just more clear roles.
Maybe just because in the previous years, they always had 5 or 6 players injured. So just to be safe, now they want to sign
it makes sense.
More players and be more prepared
but
for
at the
an
same
injury
time,
crisis.
I think it brings some chemistry challenges because let's say if I'm Bolmaro and I'm sitting on the bench and I'm watching Mannion, Lorenzo Brown, whoever is playing, I don't feel that he's that better than me. So while I'm sitting on the bench, I want him to fail a little bit so I could play more and could be the guy. So I'm just the hierarchy guy.
What do you think?
And I think that, if that would be a clear roster, that would be easier for everyone. And especially when they got injured in a game against Žalgiris, so many guys were injured. So the rotation that they had was quite clear. So you have the confidence, that you're not going to lose your spot if you turn the ball over two times. You're going to still play on the court. So you have time to get into your rhythm. So I think that even helped in some way.
Okay, enough about Milan. 10-11. Oh no, we have a lot of teams to do and not enough time. Okay. Wow, Fener at 10, tied with Paris. 10-11.
I actually thought that Fener will be even lower.
But I think I had Fener at 10, yeah. I had 10 Fener, 11 FS, and Paris at these spots, so... I don't know. One team is exceeding everyone's expectations and the other is underperforming.
It's just that power ranking is such a difficult concept.
Yeah.
You can look at it at so many different ways. Do you judge the team just by the results at the moment? Do you judge them taking into consideration the potential or the track record of the coach and the team? Because Fener are the defending champions. Do you just judge the quality of basketball by your eye test only? Or do you base your judgment on metrics, on advanced statistics? So it's so many different ways, so many different angles. And thinking about Fener, I just couldn't run away from the recency bias. And the 2 games that I've witnessed they played in Spain.
That was bad.
I was sick to my stomach the way they performed in Valencia and after that in Madrid. So
it's painful, right?
It was so bad, and it's not just only that they missed so many shots. It's the way the body language, the way players reacted to every bad thing that happened on the court, the way they just gave up. And I think for Šaras, it was also hard to accept that. Not to accept the loss, not to accept that the other team played better than us, but to accept the fact that his players just played some soulless basketball. And judging by that, I had to put them really low in the power ranking. But I also have to say that this is a team that probably in the second part of the season get better, and they will get to where they should be. I mean... playoff position, maybe even top 4, and they will be defending the crown in the playoffs. But right now, they're kind of hard to watch.
Just things are not going their way, and I think players are also feeling that they're not in any kind of rhythm. You just see they're trying to do things on the court, but they're just not going your way, and you're like overthinking stuff, and then you're not in that flow state that you should be when you're playing offensively. They actually have the worst offensive rating in the league, and that is a good thing and a bad thing in my eyes. They can't play much worse offensively, and when they start doing so, I don't know, maybe by increasing the teamwork or just signing some new guys in certain positions. One way or the other, they should be better. Then all of a sudden your defense, especially transition defense, starts to be better. Fener is like top 5 in allowing transition opportunities for the opposing teams. And like, with Sharas, you usually try to foul them. But when you miss so much shots, there are just so many opportunities for the other team to go in transition. Against Valencia, they were not ready defensively to play against that speed, and they just got really run out of the gym in the first half. But to me, the problem is offensively. Nigel Hayes-Davis has not been replaced. Mika Jantunen has been underperforming to start the season. They don't have an inside presence. Their centers are not, showing any signs of life at the moment. And all they have is pick and roll creation, ISO creation, and some off the ball movements. But their guards also are not in the rhythm at the moment. So
shooters are missing open shots. Look at the numbers that Tarik Biberovic is dropping.
And we all expected him to break out as some kind of EuroLeague star after the playoffs that he had in the Final Four last season.
I think Nigel Hayes-Davis is actually a missing piece because,
of course,
Wade Baldwin is actually quite solid to start the season, especially if we compare it with the last year. Talon Horton-Tucker is doing all right, given it's his first EuroLeague experience, and he just joined the team basically entering the season. Frontline, you mentioned, and Jantunen, Biberovic, and Bonzi Colson. These guys they didn't step up. You could expect Tarik Biberovic to play even a bigger role because I think that he had an awesome season already last year. You thought that Bonzi Colson might be way more significant when he was in his first season because now Nigel Hayes-Davis is gone, so you might have more responsibilities and playing time. Jantunen, he could do better. So this is the clear gap, I think, on their team because Nigel was a glue guy. Marko Guduric, let's not forget that he was also playing big games and some crunch time stretches last season that helped Fenerbahce in many games. So
he had games where he was like the main option.
True.
On that perimeter and made some big plays.
And now
creating and scoring.
You don't have him. Brandon Boston, who was about to replace him, he's injured. You have to reintegrate Scotty Wilbekin coming off this ACL injury and missing 1 year without basketball. So I don't know. And, mentally, they're just not there. I mean, I checked the first quarter stats because with Fener, it's easy. You watch the first 2 quarters and you understand that you should tune in for another game. Because except from game against Paris, they lost all 8 first quarters. And they did it on an average margin of 8 points.
Wow.
So, and in some cases, against Efes and Bayern, they were behind, but they managed to recover in the second quarter. They were up and they won those games. First half against Madrid, they were minus 17.
I couldn't sleep
Valencia
after the game.
minus 16. Zvezda minus 13. Dubai minus 15. And probably you cannot question Shah's game plan, I guess. But, the way you started the game...
You could. It's a free world.
True, yeah.
You could question
You're open to all ideas, but it says something about mentality, about just you not being ready to be there. But this is something, I cannot recall EuroLeague champions who played good basketball in October, really.
Fair point.
I think they're, I'm not worrying about them yet.
Yeah.
I think this team is playing its worst right now.
And they're still 3-5.
Especially talking about the centers, because that's the centers they won the championship with. They didn't have a dominant big last season also. So
that's important.
It was more or less the same idea. It's just I cannot get that game out of my head. Like I was so hyped about Real Madrid playing Fener. It's Friday night. What can you expect better?
Right.
Premium material.
Man, I was so bad. I couldn't sleep. I honestly couldn't sleep after the game. I stayed up like until 4 a.m. or something like that.
Do you think Sharas slept?
I don't think so.
He was trying to understand what to do with that Nigel Hayes-Davis position.
I was also trying to understand that when I got back home.
There was like Bonzi, there was then Nico Melli, there was Birsen, there was...
Who are you signing? Center
Jantunen.
or number 4?
I think position 4. I thought Jantunen is going to be a backup power forward plus play some minutes at the 5.
At the moment, Jantunen looks like a former Fenerbahce player, Danilo Bartel. That is about as much as he provides for this team. So if that's enough for you, then fine, let's live with it. But if you want to replace Nigel Hayes-Davis, then that's not the caliber you're looking for.
Wow, Danilo Bartel catching strays for no reason on their bonus episode.
That's what I do,
Shout
man.
out to Daniel Bart.
That's what I do. I insult people that don't deserve to be insulted.
And Paris? Do you have anything
Paris?
to say about Paris?
Paris are doing better than everybody except
better.
me expected.
I was just surprised about this last double game week where they lost both two
Yeah.
games, because if they won at least one, they would be one of the top teams, deservedly.
Yeah, I think when you play that style, you are going to have games where energy is not there. The shots are not falling.
Turnovers are happening.
Turnovers are happening. You get pissed because all of a sudden it's not working. But for a team that's completely new with a new coach, I think 4-4 is great, and they're getting some reinforcements. I think they needed another guard to create some shots for himself and others, and they just signed James Roden from Toronto, and now Nadir Hifi and Justin Robinson will have some help, because Seba Herrera is a great shooter, but you need another guy that can actually create for others as well. So, yeah, it will be interesting to see if Paris can hold on to this and be around the playing spot. I love watching them.
I love their effort, the way they crash the offensive glass. It's kind of unique. I don't see many teams doing that.
It is crazy that they have an offensive rebounding rate of 45%, meaning that almost every second shot they miss, they get an offensive rebound. Their energy is unmatched, and they're playing with even more energy than last year, and this is what Tabellini has emphasized.
Last year, there was this huge Paris basketball bandwagon. After everybody left,
We still hear it.
I honestly think you were the only one left on that train, but now more people are getting tickets.
You're there?
I'm getting there.
You're buying tickets?
I'm still not sure.
Don't leave, yo.
Just a few more games, bro.
No, don't leave me hanging.
At the moment, I can't say, but I need to see.
I did not expect that
I need to see a few more games. Because look, when they were winning, I was away. I couldn't watch EuroLeague because of the time difference.
Yeah.
So I just looked at the standings and the results. When I got back home...
But the train already left the station.
But when I got back home, my first game I did for them was Paris versus Efes. It was not good.
That was not great.
Then Paris-Milan followed. No, not great. So
Ritas is
train
right,
already
because
left the station.
They haven't won against the team that had a winning record at least over 50%. So they have to prove themselves against some bigger teams. But yeah, so far they were...
Let's have this conversation in December, okay? Then I might give you the high five.
No re-entries after this, man.
But yeah, they're the most aggressive team in the EuroLeague. You mentioned the offensive rebounds. They got 133. And the second best, which is Valencia, they have 113. So 20 rebound difference. The third one, Red Star, is 29 rebounds behind. So that speaks a lot. They're first in steals, fifth in block shots, highest pace team in the EuroLeague. Not so efficient so far, but they will get there. Let's not forget that they don't have Lamar Stevens, probably their biggest offseason signing on the team. A glue guy that would cover a lot of holes in their
When
their
he's
game.
Coming back, I had him in my fantasy draft, and
He was out for several weeks.
Yeah, but
right before the start of the season. So several weeks means basically now. He should be returning in a couple of weeks or so.
I was checking, the EuroLeague RotoWire for all the injuries. September 25th or 26th, it was reported that he's about to miss multiple, 3 weeks. September 25th.
No, it's not true. Several weeks.
So
the initial
it has
announcement
been
was
5.
several weeks. You should follow BasketNews injury report though, not RotoWire or the others.
Okay.
And who's next at 9? Barca?
I know that this guy in the middle has some takes about Barcelona.
I honestly think that with the budget that they have available, I could build a better team in one.
Yes, sir. He said it.
In one evening, just sitting by the table, having a bottle of good drink next to me, a laptop, and a phone to make some phone calls to agents. I could do a better job building a team.
A bottle of sangria?
It could be something even stronger, actually.
You don't look like a sangria guy, actually.
Nah, it could be something stronger, but
Okay.
I'd still do a better job. I don't understand what they're doing. I don't understand what they are doing. The results are not that bad, actually.
5 and 3.
That's
yeah.
actually solid.
5 and 3.
Five
man.
and 3. But when I watch them play, I just don't get it. What the hell is this team? Like, how do you build a team like that? I understand that teams with low budgets, they try to risk, try to do something. It doesn't work out sometimes. You might have a poor season because of that. But it is Barcelona. You do have some money. I mean, I know that is less money than before when they were actually competing for the EuroLeague title. But come on, I mean, so Clyburn and Shengelia was not a great idea for Virtus. Why would it be a great idea for Barcelona? And I cannot stand any more of Satoransky's playmaking. I mean, if my point guard is not aggressive attacking the rim, if all he does is just carry the ball and look for a pass, this is the type of basketball I can't stand. I mean, this is something from the 80s or the 90s. I don't want to see it anymore. I mean, just if Barcelona needs some help, you can just reach out to me. I mean, I'm not even asking for any salary. Just give me an opportunity to prove myself.
And good drink on your table.
I can't buy a drink myself. I mean, just give me the opportunity to prove myself.
Actually, they're 5 and 3, but 2 shots go the other way, and they're 3 and 5. I mean, they won their last game in Belgrade from Will Clyburn's 3-pointer from the logo.
By the way, insane game winner. Insane game winner.
That was one of the craziest game winners you can see. I mean,
I remember Evan Fournier last year. He hit something like that close to the half court against Pana, I think. It was one of the crucial shots in their first game. But this is the first thing that comes to my mind because that logo tree was crazy, really.
And so yeah, that one goes the other way, and then they won by 2 points against Milano at home. They're all of a sudden 3 and 5. They're 5 and 3, but what I'm trying to say is that they have not shown that they're 5 and 3. Really, in my eyes, they're what they demonstrated on the court. So I'm more towards Rita's side here. I have said similar stuff before the season that their roster construction raises a lot of questions. So,
but they're trusting the coach actually, which kind of surprises me. Last season, maybe what saved him was the playoff series versus Monaco, where they were one shot away from the Final Four, but they didn't have a good year in Liga Endesa. And now this season, after they played Žalgiris at home, they were blown out. Some could thought that like Jean Peñarol is in a hot seat, but no, they're still trusting him. Let's see how this goes forward. I can accept that with La Provitola healthy, this team would play better. And when you have games where La Provitola doesn't play and Brisela also doesn't play, there's not enough quality. There's just Kevin Panther and Tomasz Satoransky playing the 80s point guard role. So, yeah, that's not what you probably want. But honestly, after first 5 games, they probably had the first offensive rating in the league.
They're still
I'm
one
not
of the
sure
better
how.
teams.
And maybe I'm too harsh on them. It's just that I cannot forget the possession when they played Žalgiris, and there were still 16 seconds on the shot clock, and Vili Hernan Gomez pulled up a free.
wow, that was great. That was great TV.
Like, at that point, I thought this is it. That's it. I'm not watching Barcelona anymore.
Or when Satoransky tried to make a pass into the low post, and just Sylvain Francisco, who was defending Satoransky, stole that pass.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And
that
actually,
one.
you know,
that was an ugly game to watch, by the way.
yeah, and in the last 4 games, Barca have won all those last 2 games that I just told. You know, against Milano at home by 2 points, and against Partizan with the Will Clyburn game winner. And in the ACB League, they're 2 and 3. So I'm not sure. About
I'm sure I could build a better team.
I don't know. I just think that you're just too harsh, guys. I mean, I don't really know why you have to be so hard on a team that started the season 5 and 3. I mean, they're imperfect for sure. I have a lot of question marks about their roster construction too, but they weren't that bad. So you would trash them as they were losing all 8 games. And by the way, like Tomasz Satoransky is a very well-respected player and teammate in Barcelona, recognized as a glue guy on and off the floor, while Clyburn and Shengelia, for instance, they've been putting numbers that close or among their best seasons in the EuroLeague so far. So, and it seems like they're all enjoying playing together. So, I don't know, guys. I mean, probably we just should move on with the other teams. Number 8, Valencia.
Valencia.
One of the biggest risers, I guess, up by 8 spots.
How funny, and I don't think it's a coincidence that the two teams that have moved up the most in our power rankings play the fastest game in the EuroLeague and making everything uncomfortable for the opposing teams. Valencia and Paris play together with Baskonia. They play the fastest basketball, and it's just running teams out of the building, showing that the higher pace is the new trend in modern game, and more teams should actually follow that. That's just my opinion. And Pedro Martinez doing some great stuff. They have constructed a roster that fits them. They have 5 guards that can basically defend, and they're tall. They can create for themselves a little bit, and especially for others. They have an exciting team, Paris and Valencia must see TV for me. When Žalgiris are not playing, I'm tuning in those two,
especially at their home court.
This new arena, which looks like an NBA gym.
Yeah,
and expect Valencia to stay somewhere around the plane, and you should not be surprised because they have a lot of good guards to choose from, and that's important in the EuroLeague.
I love that backcourt. Jean Montero, Omari Moore, even Cameron Taylor. I didn't expect him.
He started to
solid
play.
EuroLeague return, so that's a lot of fun to watch.
I've always been a huge admirer of Pedro Martinez, and I always was a fan of him. He wasn't always in the EuroLeague, but any team he coached, they play with this certain style. They had their brand of basketball, and I'm happy that he's back in the EuroLeague and with Valencia team playing some exciting basketball. He's a really, really interesting coach. Maybe we heard some rumors, especially from his Vitoria days, that he has a tough character, so maybe not the easiest person to work with for sporting director or the president of the club, but he knows basketball. That's the one thing for sure. And I do admire him. And this Valencia team is exciting. I agree with you. And I think they could go further than Paris.
Oh, yeah. The depth is just... I think they have more depth.
They play in a tougher domestic league, which is another thing.
Which doesn't help, actually.
Yeah,
if you want to aim high in the EuroLeague. So we'll see.
But another compliment, I think, was Thomas Masulis actually saying, Žalgiris head coach, before this game against Valencia, that actually this Valencia game will show how really good we are, how actually good we are because, of all the things we just mentioned about them. They're an uncomfortable opponent, especially when they play at home.
Number 7, Madrid.
Real Madrid.
Dropped by 2.
The champions of the 2026 EuroLeague, according to Donatas.
Yeah, because
how do you like their start?
It's October. They're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
They won all home games. They lost all 4 games away.
Yeah.
But it's a new team, new big concept by Sergio Scariolo. A lot of players have to figure their roles.
Yeah.
They have EuroLeague newcomers, which I like actually so far. We have Chumo Keke or Trey Lyles. There's even Alex Len coming to join the team soon. But in general, up and down in some stretches, they look like a title contender. In some, they look like last year's Real Madrid. But I don't know. I'm the process guy. I still trust the process. And that's it.
5th best net rating in the competition after Žalgiris, Zvezda, Olympiacos, and Hapoel. And I agree. They're still figuring out roles. Like Facundo Campazzo role has diminished so much. It's actually crazy to see shorter periods on the court. Of course, more talent in the backcourt. You have
huge
Theo
rotation.
Maledon.
That's Cariolo's thing. Because if
Exactly.
you look the depth, I don't remember who's the number 1 guy in minutes. Maybe Campazzo, but he's playing 22. The 10th guy
maybe
on the
Tavares.
rotation, I think Campazzo.
Campazzo?
The 10th or even 12th guy on rotation plays at least 10 minutes per game, and he's Garuba.
Campazzo plays the most, less than 23.
Garuba is 12th or 10th? playing 10th.
Truba is 13th, actually.
But Fernando
playing,
left.
Playing
so
10 minutes.
He's
Yeah,
12th.
yeah, okay. Yeah, 12.
Do you think Mario Hezonja is happy?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
I think... do you think Ja Morant is happy? This is the same situation that he's dealing.
You think so?
Ja
I don't
Morant.
know.
He just said he lost fun.
Look,
He's
Ja
not
Morant
enjoying.
is more complicated. I'm not sure if I can judge him as a basketball player. Maybe I need to raise the question: is he happy as a human being? And for Hezonja, I'm probably focusing on basketball and his role on a basketball team only. Because maybe we thought that now Janan Musa left, so Hezonja could be the star he once was, but his role is actually lesser than it was last season with Chus Mateo as the coach. However, Real Madrid really solid at home so far. They just need to figure it out when they play away from home and when they face some adversities. Like anytime they fall into a hole in the third quarter, they just don't bounce back. That's what happened to them when they played on the road. But at home, they've been really good so far.
They have the biggest net rating differential when compared playing home and away. It's a 27-point difference per 100 possessions.
See, I'm that good. I don't even have those stats, and I just...
Nobody ever questioned you, man.
Some people did, yeah.
You might not agree with me about Paris, but I have never questioned that. And the only teams that have this big home and away difference are the teams that are, in the bottom of the standings. Asvel, Virtus, Dubai, and Baskonia, the next 4 teams, and Bayern. But Real Madrid have this even bigger gap. So I think this tells me that they're still figuring out because it's different, but I love that they have, they seem to care more, let's say, about every possession. And I like that.
I think there are body language improvements in their game so far.
Especially Fener game. After every block, every hustle play, the team was really fired up. That's what you want to see.
And that's a big difference compared to the last season. So there's more respect over the coaching staff as well. It feels like that. Yeah. But again, you've just mentioned, Campazzo's role diminished. Hezonja's role is different. But that's, once again, Scariolo's system. He doesn't have one go-to guy in his game. So that's what Mario has to adjust. Campazzo has to adjust. And from what I heard, there's not like Mario is complaining about his situation. No. So
Real Madrid could be champions, as you predicted, under... One circumstance, one condition. The New York Knicks release Gershon Yabusele, and he becomes a free agent and joins this Madrid team.
So you still don't have much confidence in Trey Lyles or Chuma Okeke? I mean, Yabusele would be a game changer, that's for sure.
Gershon Yabusele would win them the season, or if they would struggle in the playoff series, he would find a way to make the series go to them. So.
But it was an ironical question about how you like the team, because I think also that they have they're building something nice in Madrid, and they're way better than they were last season. Number 6.
Number 6. Panathinaikos dropped by 5, which is third most so far.
Fourth most.
Oh yeah.
Partizan, Efes, Fener, and Panathinaikos.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about their performance, Eritas?
I think they have a decent result. I'm not necessarily very impressed about their performances.
I don't think anybody is.
Look, first of all, let's be honest. Injuries don't help. When you lose all your centers, it does not help. The situation right now is similar to Efes. Lasor is out. Even Yurtseven now we're hearing is out.
And Holmes is out as well.
Sean Holmes is out.
I think it's even worse than Efes.
You only have Mitoglu or some crazy small ball.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that, and it's not new. You could even say that about the last season. Panathinaikos under Ataman, with Kendrick Nunn running the show, they are now becoming the trendsetters for EuroLeague regular season, that when you are very good, you can approach the EuroLeague regular season as an NBA regular season. Your effort level is just as it is in the NBA. You don't care about fouling before the bonus. You don't care about all those small details. You just play your way, and you might win some, you lose some. You don't really care. You don't stress about it because you're really good, and when it matters, you're going to win. You will be in the playoffs. You will probably be in the Final Four. You just trust your talent, your experience, and everything you have. So the slogan "Every game matters" is kind of dying because of Panathinaikos and the way they treat the regular season.
They're
They're not serious enough.
I think it started with Efes when
It
they won all
started
these
probably
championships
even with Efes.
against Ataman.
Because
Yeah.
I was doing the commentary for Monaco Panathinaikos game.
We were watching this.
Again, it was supposed to be a good...
They didn't really care. They have one team foul, and they don't care that Jaron Blossom game is driving to his right hand and just finishing with an easy layup and all these other things. Okay, then they made some runs because they are good. They have players like Slukas and others. But in general, it's like, I think they will be in the Final Four, but the way they play in the regular season, the first part of the regular season at least, it's not really serious. Honestly, it's not serious.
And also, they, with the talent they have, they will still be in the probably like top 6 mix. And all that really matters when you go to the second part of the regular season is if you're going to be in the top 4 or not. Like being first or fourth,
not a big difference.
Not a big difference. You get the home court, and then it's a Final Four, so it doesn't really matter anymore. And so maybe that is also why, as a PAO fan, you shouldn't probably be super unhappy about your team plays because you're still 5-3. And you shouldn't be, that having. I don't know. It's they're 5-3. They're winning games, and they're close to being in the top positions. They will win. They will try. They will have periods where they will play harder, and they will win those. But
and Lazor returns in mid-November, December, which means he will have more time to adapt, to regain his rhythm, and they will have time just to reach this peak momentum for April and May, which is great.
If they can be 5-3 when players are defending on straight legs, imagine what will happen when they bend their knees.
It's that simple. It's that simple with PAO, really.
Yeah.
Number 5. Zvezda up by 4.
Crazy energy in that team, man. Ever since Sasha Obradovic took over, they made some roster adjustments. It's crazy energy, and it's, I would say, gets from one player to the other, then it gets to the bench, I'm talking about positive energy, winning energy. So far, I mean, they have been really, really exciting, and the early coaching change, we have to admit, worked for them. Right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's hard to judge because they played many games at home, many games where against the opponents you can expect to win. So it always helps to change the coach when you see this schedule. So let's see how their chemistry and energy will be tested when they face adversity, when they start losing some games, because this is something that will happen.
But you gotta love the
having
energy.
a high energy team,
it's contagious.
Defensive. This mentality, this was the idea that they've built the team on, basically starting from Yannis Varopoulos,
and they
who
had
had this idea.
Yeah, and they were not executing that at all in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
They were defending like PAO do, straight legs, on a team that was supposed to be this super high energy. But that coaching change combined with the 5 basically home games in Belgrade. Okay, no, one was against Maccabi, but that was Belgrade. That was like a home game, but not full gym. And now, it's going to be more interesting. Although their schedule is still, they'll play PAO now, Dubai away, Monaco home, Valencia away, Olympiacos and Barcelona at home. So still a lot of home games. And now they have Jared Butler joining the team. And I think Devonta Graham is also about to be back. So you get new reinforcements. I also want to see how smaller roles for, let's say, Jordan Nwora with other guys coming into the roster, how that will affect the confidence, the lineups, because now they can basically play whatever they want, do whatever they want on the court, knowing that there's just 7 or 8 guys that can play. So this is going to be interesting, but I think they have potential to remain this high.
And that's actually crazy that they're 6-2 given so many injuries that he had. There's some important big players that they have. That's huge, actually.
Yeah. Number 4,
Žalgiris
the biggest jump together with Valencia and Paris.
by 8.
We have talked a lot about Žalgiris, I think, in the episode a couple of days ago. But so far, everything has been going pretty well. Just overall, defensively, offensively, great ideas, players executing. Just the biggest change to me since the last season is just the talent level and the depth that they have. Last year, Silvan Francisco was carrying this team on his shoulders, back, the head, his legs, and doing everything. Now he has so much more next to him, and so
they had Lonnie Walker last season, but now they have a way better fit next to Francisco
absolutely.
with Nigel Williams-Goss and Mo Delo coming off the bench.
Absolutely. And Masul is using David Servidis better. So I think he's also giving Žalgiris a better boost. And, I still see some upside for them, especially some defensive communication with Moses Wright. The biggest question right now probably seems their health.
Yeah.
Not sure about the Moses Wright situation and his wrist.
It's not that serious, which would sideline him for a couple of weeks. But Nigel Williams-Goss' situation is still uncertain. So he's missing this game against Valencia. And then who knows? And that's huge. I think he's huge for Žalgiris' ambition to go far in this season.
However, in any other season, if Žalgiris' most expensive player is out, the drop in quality is insane. Now your most expensive player is out, and the quality, at least in the short term, remains on the same level because you have Francisco and you have Mo Delo and you have off-ball movements of Servidis. You have good spacing, good shooters everywhere. It's different. It's a sensible roster, if I could say. Finally, Žalgiris realized that you need 3 ball handlers, that you cannot survive the whole season with just one, whether it was Keenan Evans before or Silvan Francisco last year. You realize that this is where we need to invest most of our budget, and then we fill other positions with hardworking Lithuanians, role players that fit. Of course, we need a center. That's where they also invested more money than maybe the years before when they played with Hayes or Dunstan. They signed Moses Wright. So they did all the right moves. Like, they invested money where they need to invest. You do not see, maybe you just see only one contract on this Žalgiris right now that doesn't make a lot of sense. That is Brazdeikis, but this is because of the past. Like, the money, they didn't give that money to him this summer. All other contracts make a lot of sense. So many years before, I criticized Žalgiris because they overpay the local players just because of the passport. They don't invest enough in the perimeter. I've been saying this for 3 or 4 years, and now this is the season where they did all the right things. And even if I wanted to, I cannot say anything bad. Then there was this doubt about the coach. But from the start, you can see that he knows what he's doing. He has great assistant coaches, analytics department and all that stuff. And they are always prepared for any opponent they're facing. For example, the Virtus game, the starting lineup surprised a lot of people. But they won the game in those first 4 minutes because of the defense the starting lineup played. As simple as that.
Yeah. Do you think, Nigel Williams-Goss started the preseason with the same injury he has, and he has had those muscle problems for the last couple of years. Now he's missing, 2-3 weeks?
At least.
If this injury reoccurs, do you think he's getting paid the right amount of money?
Well,
if he plays 50% of EuroLeague games,
that is a risk. You're paying money for the player that you see on the court, but sometimes you cannot predict what will happen, the injuries and all that stuff. So if he gets injured consistently, if he has some nagging problems that don't allow him to perform at 100%, yes, you will look at the contract and you will say, well, maybe we're not getting what we wanted, what we expected, but that is based on luck, not on the player not doing his stuff. Because when he was available, he was very important for the team. He's a tall guard. He's a good defender. he's a smart basketball player. He complements the teammates so well. That this is why Barsokas loved him in Olympiacos. We saw him playing for 35 minutes on Olympiacos team when Thomas Walkup was out, with all the defensive responsibilities and other stuff. The only thing is that can Sylvain Francisco maintain his insane level for the whole year? Because the way he puts his heart out on offense and defense as well, it takes a toll on you as a basketball player. And as the season goes on and on and on and on, at a certain point, you might drop a little bit. Maodolo, I've always been a fan of his, but he's the type of player that if you judge the 3 games he plays, there will be one game where you think he's one of the most skilled guards in the Europe. And there will be 2 games where you will say, I was mid. And then the averages add up to some good numbers. But if you get what I'm saying, he's the type of player that performs very, very well 1 game out of 3.
I don't know if you have noticed, but before that last Asvel game in the EuroLeague, Maodolo had a 13-point average when playing away and a 1.3-point average when playing at home EuroLeague. 55% field goal shooting percentage away and a 7% shooting when playing in Žalgirio Arena. So this I think sums up Maodolo pretty well.
Yeah,
let's go to
number 3. And that's where Gytis actually told us to emphasize that the margin between the first, second, and third spot is basically the average score is like 0.5, 0.25. And the funny part will be that the number 1 team that we have on our power ranking didn't appear as a number 1 team on any of our 4 power rankings. So this is some stats to know.
Maybe we reveal all the top 3 and just talk about them.
Okay.
Hapoel plus 8 positions according to the start.
Okay.
And Monaco number 1. Wow.
Okay.
The double game week, the Greek week, it just had such an effect on that.
Okay.
Yeah. I was not sure really about the top 3 because based on what we see right now, I would put probably Hapoel number 1.
I had Hapoel number 1. Yeah, but I did have Hapoel number 1.
Yeah.
Olympiacos 3rd is surprising to me, actually.
Why?
I don't know. Okay, I focused more on the way they looked in the first month and on what you can expect going into November. I didn't expect much of an improvement in their game. They still have some players injured, so it will take time when Keenan Evans returns and some rhythm and he adjusts with the team. So I was expecting to see a bit ugly Olympiacos basketball for a number of months because this is not the time of the season you have to expect some quality. So to see them 3rd above Žalgiris and Zvezda, to me, is surprising. But of course, if you're looking long term, that spot might make some sense.
Even the results are okay.
Results are okay, yeah.
Just that in some games, I saw similar issues that I see in Panathinaikos. For example, when they played Maccabi, they were not willing to play any defense until the point they were down 10, and Barsokas started kicking some butts and just, guys, do your stuff. And they finally did it. And the Monaco game, they lost at home. Lack of effort sometimes just punishes them. Tyler Dorsey has been great. Evan Fournier has been down. It's the way it is with these deep rosters. One player steps up, one player goes down. I think it's pretty normal. They beat Hapoel 62-58. That same night, I had a game, Milwaukee, Sacramento, and in the middle of the second quarter, the scoreline was 65-58. Just a thought.
Could you sleep
afterwards? Just a random note.
Yeah. Those are my takes about Olympiacos. More or less the same system, the same coach, deep roster. They have everything to win the EuroLeague. Maybe it's time for them, but the regular season, no surprises so far.
I think they're still looking for the balance between offense and defense in those lineups. And I think sometimes they have super offense-oriented lineups that just can't play good enough defense. And
because like when they played Monaco, it's obvious that Milutinov is dominating under the rim. He's getting the offensive rebounds. Daniel Theis struggles against him. He's getting fouls, but then in the fourth quarter, Barsokas decides to run with Donta Hall because of defense. But they didn't stop Monaco anyway. And then you're thinking, well, if you couldn't actually stop them anyway, why not playing with Milutinov if he's causing damage on the other side of the court? So the coach maybe is thinking similar things like, what do I do now? Do I try to put a more defensive lineup, or do I just go with the guys that can give me easier points?
Yeah. I actually had Olympiacos pretty high just because of what I expect, long term. I still think they're a top team, and they'll be at the top with all the players coming back, some guys getting into a bigger rotation. I mean, Evan Fournier is shooting 17% from free. I don't think that's going to last.
Did you like when he dropped that brick in the crunch time when Tyler Dorsey scored 3 possessions in a row?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
That was interesting.
Okay.
But
politically correct.
I'm learning from the best. That's why I had them pretty high, and I'm not freeze a good spot for them to be.
What did you like about Hapoel so far?
Man, just the level of talent in that team. We always talk about guards, and everybody's talking about guards in European basketball, and you have Micic that is, coming back, getting into better shape. You have Elijah Bryant, you have Antonio Blakeney, who I really enjoy watching in his ISO play. You have Chris Jones coming off the bench. Dano Turu, pick and roll center for all those guards. You have John Motley sometimes carrying the load offensively, and you have good role players. I think Colin Malcolm has stepped up his game in the last couple of weeks. Ish Wainwright, he's bigger than this whole entire studio.
He's an NFL player.
Yeah,
He was.
he was actually.
Right.
He had a workout in the NFL team.
So
Makes sense.
I like how those guys that rotation, 8 or 9 man rotation, have accepted their roles, and I just think they have so many weapons offensively, and it kind of fits real fast to start the season. So I think the talent, we knew that they're going to be talented. I think I put them 6th or 7th in my power ranking before the season. I knew we had them 10th. I thought that was a little bit harsh, but they have over-exceeded expectations. And I think they're for real.
Yeah, just a well-constructed roster in general. The only piece that they might be missing, if we're talking about the biggest goals, is a guy like Nigel Hayes-Davis.
Everybody misses a guy like Nigel Hayes-Davis. What are we
There
talking
was
about?
no
What are you talking
other
about?
Nigel
I'm just
Hayes-Davis.
talking about
Which team wouldn't benefit from Nigel Hayes-Davis?
every team, but especially Hapoel, because they have to play Motley and Naturu in some lineups, which I'm not a big fan of. It's great when Ish Wainwright is hitting corner threes, 3 per game, but it's not going to happen every night. I love Colin Malcolm, actually. I think that he's a bit underrated in this whole picture of Hapoel. He's having a huge role. He's a great glue guy for the team, starting from defense, but also making some shots and being great in transition. But I really think that watching them play with Wainwright, with Motley at the 4, I'm like, as soon as Nigel Hayes-Davis gets cut from Phoenix during the season or next summer, I'm sure that Hapoel are throwing their millions to bring Nigel Hayes-Davis to this team, because he actually started thriving playing under the Tudis in Fenerbahce.
Let's hope Nigel Hayes-Davis stays in the NBA, because I just want
I
that guy
want
to make it
him
happen.
to make his dreams come true, maybe
Yeah.
have a good role on a good NBA team. But I haven't seen Hapoel play a lot, so I don't have any takes. But I have to say one thing. This season, probably, I will leave Mr. Yanukopoulos alone because I have a new target to focus on. I will probably be focusing more on Hapoel Tel Aviv owner.
Did you see the beef that he had with Pedro
I
Martinez?
did see everything. I stand with Pedro Martinez, and that guy is giving quote after quote, and I don't think anybody agrees with him. So, yeah, let's see how this goes on. But this season, you will hear me less talking about Mr. Yanukopoulos.
Oh,
That's for sure.
I'm pretty sad about that, actually.
But I have a new friend.
I think we have enjoyed it. Everyone who watches this podcast have enjoyed that
Well,
greatly.
let's see what the season brings. There might be some content. Who knows?
All right.
What about Monaco, the number 1 team on our power
I'm
ranking?
surprised.
I'm not sure how they're number 1, but
Yeah.
the averages just add up.
Yeah.
But look, that Greek week, when they played, I would say, playoff level basketball, is a bit of a statement.
True.
Because the way they
I think that's
started the
important.
season, it was a bit sloppy. the first game at home against Žalgiris. But now when they face those teams that they see as their direct rivals, especially like Olympiacos with the history they have.
Yeah.
Those are the two teams that we might face in the Final Four or in the playoffs, that if we want to be the best, we need to beat them to prove a point. How focused Mike James was. Mike James was guarding Kendrick Nunn from the first possessions. I'm not sure when was the last time I gave praise to Mike James for defense. And now I can proudly say that because he was playing defense,
He was
man.
amazing.
He was great. As a leader in that Olympiacos game. Alpha Diallo, once again proving that he's one of the most versatile players in the league that we have. One of the best defenders, at the same time could be one of the best scorers.
Next time
he finds
Hayes
ways to
basically.
score. He finds ways to drop 20 even though he doesn't have the ball that much. And you can see that some players can still improve. Elio Kobo could be much more consistent and have better shooting percentages and then figure out how you implement Nedovic, Mirotic, and it's not as they're not as deep as, for example, Olympiacos, but the 10-man core is really, really strong. And they played some playoff quality basketball last week, which impressed me a lot.
True. Just like Augustus said that Coach Masiulis emphasized the game against Valencia, that's going to show how good Žalgiris actually is in the EuroLeague. I think that this Greek week proved that Monaco is a team to watch all the way.
I didn't have a question if Monaco can be this good, but they were just not showing at the start of the season. I mean, this team has potential. I still think they're, if we are from ideal world, I still think one good guard away from being like the top. I could have not maybe an additional guard, but maybe some changes in that backcourt, but whatever. And I think they're a solid contender to remain in the power ranking number 1 if they do well on their upcoming 4-game road trip. It's Maccabi. They have a double week in Belgrade, Partizan and Zvezda, and then French derby against Asvel. 4 road games. If they win those 4, their only remaining game in November is against Anadolu Efes. So this 4-game road trip, I want to see focused and concentrated Monaco team on both games in Belgrade. That has not happened often in the double weeks when you go to some cities.
I'm not going to predict them winning all 4. 3 out of 4 would be good.
3 out of 4 would be good.
Realistic.
Yeah,
that's it, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to press this like button, subscribe to our channel, put the notification bell on, and also one last reminder regarding our fantasy. You can still join the November's game, even if you didn't start playing BasketNews Fantasy from the start of the season. It doesn't matter because there's a separate November's game that starts from November 5th. And if you're BN Plus member and if you're winning this November's game, you can actually win €300 prize. So do not forget to join. This is the last day to join BasketNews Fantasy.